Hello, this is Francis Acunzo, CEO and founder of Acara Partners and Reach Beyond Marketing. I'm here today to bring you our third webinar in our summer webinar series. The name of today's webinar, The Top 10 Reasons Medical Spas Succeed Upon Opening. Over the years, I have launched over 100 individual businesses. And through that experience, I have identified a set of best practices that need to be adhered to in order to achieve success upon opening. First and foremost, you need to know that successful launches of medical spas and cosmetic practices happen when you have a tremendous amount of planning prior to the opening. According to the Small Business Association, over 50% of businesses fail in the first few years. Today, I am going to give you 10 tips on how to avoid startup failure. Okay, so what is number one in the top 10 tips? Well, this one is something no one can give you. This is something that has to come from within you. This is passion. In order for a small business, and that's what a medical spa or cosmetic practice is, it's a small business. In order for a small business to succeed, there has to be a passion for what you're doing. You can't be thinking, hey, I'm a family practice doc and I just want to do this to make some money. No, money is not passion, okay? Passion is, I want to help people look better, feel better, have more confidence. That's passion. You have to be driven to want to do that, and that passion has got to be pervasive throughout the entire practice so that everybody picks up on it, your entire staff, your clinical team, as well as your reception team and your administrative team. So, starting point, make sure you have the passion. Okay, number two, rigor. What do I mean by rigor? Well, be ready to work really hard. You're launching a new business. Not only are you going to have to be a clinician, if that's the position you have, but you're also going to have to put in the time as the owner. And that takes a lot of time, hours, long hours. You may end up being there until 8 or 9 o'clock at night in the beginning, or having to get in early to get your administrative work done prior to actually doing clinical time. So one is passion, but two, rigor. Work hard. Number three, discipline. Okay. So sometimes as the owner, whether you be you're an entrepreneur or maybe a physician owner, you don't have the level of discipline needed to make sure your practice or medical spa runs successfully. And don't get me wrong, passion is number one, rigor, hard work is number two, but you'd have to have the discipline. The discipline is sort of like underlying what makes it happen. What do I mean by this? Well, you have to operate your med spa or your medical practice the same way today as you did yesterday, but just a little bit better, okay? You have to be disciplined to make sure everybody is coming in on time. You have to be disciplined to make sure that everybody stays until the end of their shift. You have to be disciplined to walk by the front desk at the end of the night and say, hey, before you leave, make sure you empty the wastebasket. That's the discipline. Usually that comes from your manager. So passion and rigor are all about being an entrepreneur, being an owner, having that sort of vision, right? Discipline is about managing and managing well day to day. In a small practice, if you don't have it, make sure your manager does. Look for that person that complements your passion, drive, and rigor. It's somebody that is very disciplined. Okay, number four, your corporate culture. The culture of your practice, your medical spa. It starts off with staff pride. You want to make sure your team is proud of the facility, proud of the place they work, proud of the team they work with, proud of the providers and the work that the providers are offering the patients or the clients. That's first when building a culture. Second, teamwork. These people need to work together, need to shore each other up, need to realize that everybody's not going to be perfect at all things. And what I do well, I'll take care of. What you do well, you take care of, right? Work as a team. Third, service culture. Okay, in a medical environment, traditional medical environment, a service culture is not that important. Honestly, you'd be hard-pressed to find a medical practice, traditional medical practice, that has a service culture. In a med spa or a cosmetic medical practice where people are paying cash, where there is choice, a lot of choice, you want to make sure that you are servicing your clients to the fullest. It's a welcoming environment. Also, this service culture has to be tempered with a sales focus. Because remember, people have choice, and you want them to buy from you. What do I mean by a sales focus? Okay, this is where you identify needs and wants of clients and patients, and you align your solutions. Once you've done that, you work collaboratively with them to make them be able to close the purchase. Okay, so service culture with a sales focus. So culture, corporate culture, pride, teamwork, service, and sales. Okay, number 5, cash. Cash is king. It's a startup. No matter what, opening a medical practice, a cosmetic medical practice, or a medical spa is a startup. And in startups, cash is what gets you to the end goal, okay? You need to fund the losses leading up to your break-even point. And there will be losses. Let me tell you, your expenses will exceed what money is coming in the first month, second month, third, fourth, maybe even the 5th month. Okay, so before you launch your new practice, you need to forecast the cash need. All right? Know what you believe it is going to take to get you to the point where you break even. Now, this may be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. It really depends on the scale and the scope of your practice. So try to figure that out. It's very important. And once you do, honestly, just double it. Be ready for more than what you believe. Now, this could be money out of your pocket, or it could be a line of credit. But as I mentioned, just make sure once you figure out it's $40,000, be ready with $80,000. Because time heals a business. If you have the money coming in and it's growing, at some point in time, it will break even, and at some point in time, it will make a profit. Okay, number 6 is sound financial management. Okay, you don't want to have like shoebox accounting here, taking all your receipts and throwing them in a shoebox and handing it to your accountant at the end of the month. Don't do that. Set yourself up in QuickBooks. Make sure you have a part-time bookkeeper that is keeping the books on a monthly basis. Make sure you set up a weekly cash flow. How much money do you estimate will come in each week, going 6 months out? How much money do you estimate needs to go out the door to pay all the bills? When are you breaking even? What are high months? What are low months or weeks when doing a weekly cash flow? Really important. Simple things. As the owner, even if you have a bookkeeper, I would look at your bank account every day. It's online. Just pull it up. You'll see what's coming in, what's going out. Make sure everything looks good and is the way it should be. So sound financial management. This is a very important step. It's number 6. Think QuickBooks, think a bookkeeper, weekly cash flow. Okay, number 7, planning. You need to plan. Once you're open, I was talking about planning before you opened, right? Like tons of planning before you open. Guess what? That tons of planning just continues after you're open. Now you're going to be doing marketing plans. We like to do bi-monthly marketing plans. So we have January and February, a plan that we're writing in the beginning of December. March, April, a plan that we're writing in the beginning of February, and so forth through the year. Set up a marketing plan. Make sure you follow the plan. Make sure you're tracking the results of the plan. What advertising is working? What's not working? Where am I going to spend more money? Where am I not going to spend money? Okay? So put together a marketing plan. Critical. Bi-monthly marketing plan. Update it every 2 months. An operating plan. So when you open your doors, what's your operating plan? Well, how many hours on the front desk do I need in reception time? What are my hours of operation? How many clinical hours am I going to staff for injectables, for aesthetics, for surgeries, how many surgery days. That's your operating plan. Both these things cost money, so it kind of goes back to that cash flow. You need to be planning your marketing and your operations so you have a sense of how to forecast your cash. But this plan, you have to stick with it. You have to make sure that you're game to keep funding that plan. That goes back to cash also, and making sure you have cash in your pocket or maybe on a line of credit to keep funding the marketing, keep funding your operations until you get to the point of break even. But without thinking forward with a plan, you may trip up there. So make sure you plan your marketing and your operations. All right, number 8, robust digital footprint. What do I mean by that? Well, let's start with the most important item, which is a highly optimized, responsive website. It's sort of like at the center of the galaxy, right? Is your website. It sits in the middle. And then you have all these other things happening digitally surrounding that, like an engaging social media plan or strategy, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Really, really critical to build your online presence. Other things like paid online campaigns to advertise online. There's also press releases, online news releases to get more visibility and increase your optimization. You have to have a robust digital footprint so that you can build more and more people that are looking, following, visiting, liking, and then you want to communicate to these people via email, another digital form of communication. So leverage all of this with advertising and communications. Number 9, a pricing philosophy. As you're building your brand and developing your new medical spa or aesthetic medical practice, you want to begin to think about how your pricing philosophy aligns and matches up with your brand, okay? Are you that 20-year plastic surgeon launching a new cosmetic practice and you are going to be the high end of the market? Are you a med spa where you want to be the middle to mid-high within the market? Or are you a well-known family practice doc or OBGYN launching into aesthetics, and because of your reputation in the marketplace, you feel like you could be mid-high on your pricing? So first, come up with that pricing philosophy. Have a good understanding of how you want to position yourself within the marketplace. Then conduct competitive pricing. Have friends or family, whoever it may be, gather up as much pricing as possible from your competitors, because once you've done that, you can clearly identify what you will be pricing your procedures and services and surgeries at. Okay? Now, really important point here, don't reset prices with discounts. Okay? Discounts are there to excite the marketplace, provide a sense of urgency, and get people to buy today versus tomorrow. 10%, 15, 20, great. 40%, 50%, all you're doing is resetting your prices. And you have to do that when you don't price correctly, when you're not competitive in your pricing, when you don't have a pricing philosophy. So whatever you do, don't use discounts to reset your prices, and make sure that you hold to that pricing philosophy. Okay, number 10, and maybe the most important, along with that starting point, passion, number 10 is agility. You have to be able to spin on a dime. You are a startup. You are a small company. You need to understand that I want you to plan. I want you to have a marketing plan. I want you to have an operating plan. But at the same time, I want you to be testing those plans continually and make changes. Is it working? Great. Do more. Is it not working? Okay, not good. Let's cut it out. But at the same time, be careful. I don't want you to make knee-jerk reactions to situations. Monitor your metrics and make sure you're making wise decisions that hopefully won't cost you too much money, but don't stick with it just because it was in the plan. Be ready and willing to make change. I can guarantee you one thing. You're starting a small business, you're launching a cosmetic practice, you're launching a medical spa. Well, change is going to be all a big part of what you'll be doing in this new business. Thank you for joining me today for the top 10 reasons medical spas succeed upon opening. Please feel free to reach out at any time if you have any additional questions concerning launching or opening a medical spa or a cosmetic practice of your own.